Hi friends, it's Melanie and welcome to today's video. Today we are doing another list inspo video. Mother's Day is right around the corner, and if you are here, I know you are the most thoughtful gift giver, and today I'm going to be sharing some DIY or personalizable Mother's Day gift ideas. We're trying to get this one out early so that you have plenty of time to order this custom gift or start making it. I'm of course going to link resources down below, so be sure to check that out as well. But other than that, let's get straight into this list. I have over 30 ideas for you. This first one I just thought was really cute. I would totally make this for myself too. I feel like it could do well as decor, but it's also super functional. You can thrift a little teapot and turn it into a sewing pin cushion, but also into storage for some of your threads. I think I want to do this eventually. Honestly, my mom is not a sewer at all, but I feel like if your mom is into sewing or embroidering, this would be such a fun gift. It's also just so creative, and you can thrift a special teapot that like reminds you of them. I tried to categorize this in a couple of ways. The first part of the list, like the first half of it, are going to be handmade, and then the second half of the list are going to be customizable, so like Etsy, or you can order it and personalize it. So you can skip to the timestamp if you want to see more things like that, if that's more up your alley. But also within each section I have little subcategories. So we're starting with sewing or sewing related things. The second idea is hand making either a Kindle or bookcase, and you will see throughout this list that I'm a huge fan of like kind of pairing things together. So you could gift your mom a Kindle or a hand-picked book and then make a bookcase, whether it's crochet, whether it's sewn, whether it's quilted. There's so many different kinds of really adorable book covers, Kindle covers, and you can make this so customizable to your mom. You can choose the print, you can choose the style. I really like this cozy book cover, and it looks relatively simple to make even as a beginner sewer. I also really like this Agatha book sleeve. I believe this pattern is free. I'll have it linked below, but I think there's so many really pretty, also like granny square options if you want to crochet a book sleeve. Already continuing with the paired gifts, I also said you could sew pot holders and then gift it with pot or a le creuset or a baking pan. I thought that this style of like pot holder was so pretty. I don't have any like this, but it looks relatively easy to sew as well. Next, I said this specific sewing pattern, it's called the Carmen toiletry pouch. I think it's so pretty, and it doesn't just have to be for toiletries. I feel like if you make a bigger size of this is kind of what my knitting craft bag looks like. So they could use it for craft supplies. They could obviously use it for makeup or toiletry, but I'm a big fan of this type of pouch. I think more people need this kind of pouch, and you could put them on with their Mother's Day gift. I don't know if other people do this, but my family has always used these like bowl cozies. Whenever you like microwave your food or have just like a really hot bowl, you can just put your bowl in the little cozy so it doesn't burn your hand, and this is a really easy thing to sew as well. I think you can also make them really adorable. Of course, you can buy these pre-made as well on Etsy. And once again, pairing it, of course you could give them like a matching bowl set to go with it. Now into some more crochet and knit inspo. I made my mom this crochet pouch. I have a whole video on it, and I made this for her for Christmas, but I think this would make such a good Mother's Day gift. And of course you could fill it with some of her favorite things. You could fill it with makeup items or skincare or just little knickknacks. I think that's such a fun way to kind of like wrap the gift as well. I've been seeing this little crochet style frame around, and I think it's so adorable, and there's so many ways you could do it. It could just be on a normal, you know, 4x6 photo. I've also seen it on a lot of photo strips, and I think it looks really cool like that. And of course you could turn it into wall decor. It could be a magnet. It could also just be like a little keepsake photo, but there's a lot of different ways you can do the frames as well. Next, I said a crochet grocery bag or crochet kind of like beach bag, you know, the ones with like a lot of holes in it. And I feel like you could work this up pretty quickly because it has so many holes in it. I don't know about you guys, but my mom has so many reusable bags, but I feel like she loves receiving them as gifts. And then once again, you could also fill this with things that she loves, and it could kind of be like your gifting storage with a little handmade touch. I also said a crochet dish rag. This is something I've been wanting to make. I'm a little like skeptical because I think I would just not really use it because it's crochet, and like, I don't know, it would be hard to be like getting your handmade piece dirty. But I've actually heard these work really well, and I feel like it's a very nice practical handmade gift. I also said like a crochet matching set. I don't know if you guys do this, but I use like a set of wristlets and headband when I wash my face. I just bought mine from like Target, but you could totally crochet this, and I feel like this would be a thoughtful little addition to your mom's life, because I don't know if everybody uses those, but they help so much. You don't get like the water dripping down your wrists and like, you know, obviously in your hair and everything too. Next, I said knit socks. I also found a free pattern called the Indoorsy Sock by Sonder Yarn Co. I thought this was just a beautiful staple pair of socks. I feel like everyone wears socks and you always wear them out. I feel like this would be such a great gift and so heartfelt if it's handmade. Also said a crochet or knit triangle scarf. I feel like these are just so classy and timeless, but you can also customize it. You can find a striped one, scalloped pattern, you can choose the color and the material, obviously. You can do different like stitches and textures also, but I feel like in general, a little triangle scarf could be a great accessory for any mom. They also can work up relatively quick, so I believe that you can make this in the next month or so. One free pattern I found that I really liked is the Easiest Triangle pattern by Castaway Yarn Shop. All the patterns and links will be in the description. Once again, I saw this photo just on Pinterest and I thought it was really sweet. It reminds me of something like, I think I'd make Mother's Day cards kind of like this, but I thought it was really cute that it was a frame that you could like put up. It was an upcycled picture frame, but within it they did a little hanging wire and clipped mini photos. You guys know me, I just like mini stuff. I think it's so adorable, but it's a nice way to turn one big picture frame into having multiple pictures in it too. I had to throw in the DIY candle. If your mom is a candle lover, why not make her one? There's so many ways to make really unique ones as well. Two that I really like are adding dried flowers in kind of like a clear candle jar, and another one that I really like is using teacups from the thrift store. This might be way harder than like when I was thinking about it, but I wrote down making like a handmade edible arrangement. Edible arrangements cost so much, and honestly they don't always taste the best, but I feel like you could make your own and it would be even more fun, taste better, look better, you know, with the chocolate dipped strawberries. You could just also customize it to exactly what your mom likes, and it's that much more special if it's hand-picked and handmade. You'll probably save money too. Also said a handmade ceramic flower frog. You could totally make this out of like air dry clay. You can make this if you have access to a pottery studio. You could also use polymer clay, but just making a little frog with the holes in it so that you can organize your flower bouquet. And I think this would be really cool to gift your mom a bouquet, but then she can also just keep the frog for future flower arrangements. I've not done this, but this has been on my crafting list for so long, and it's like this kind of foil art. And I think you could make some really cool things for Mother's Day with this. One I saw was matchboxes, so this would actually be a really cool add-on to a candle. Another one I saw was just making little foil frames, and this could just be like attached to the cover of a journal, but it could also just be like wall decor. Next, I said a hand-painted mug. You could easily go to like a Color Me Mine or Paint the Town or whatever and just choose a mug you think your mom would like, and there's a lot of fun little already existing Mother's Day-esque or Mother's themed mugs on Pinterest that you can get inspo from. I also always like looking at Anthropology. They always have fun like seasonal theme things, but you could find a Mother's Day mug there and hand make it yourself. Now we're on to some more ideas that are not handmade, but they are very heartfelt, thoughtful, and personalizable. First off, I said a baking basket. I feel like there's 1,000,001 ways you can go with these different like customizable baskets, but I think this baking one is really fun. You could do a home baked loaf of bread. I've also seen like hand sewn bread bags, which I don't know how much like I would use that, but maybe if your mom gets bread at the farmer's market, this would be so cool. It also just looks adorable in the basket, and then you can fill it with, I don't know, like homemade jams or spreads or just hand-picked things. I had to put this on the list because I think this is easy, but it's so cute, and it's these little like coffee tray gifts, and you can fill each little coffee cup holder with a different thing. So obviously a fun drink. You could do a little cup with flowers in it. I've seen it with jelly cats. You could even put like beauty products or just honestly anything. I've also seen it with like a sweet treat, like a cinnamon roll or a cupcake. Also said a Longchamp bag, but specifically I believe you can get letters embossed in the leather. I will link the video where I saw this, but I think that's such a nice classy gift that anyone could use, and also adding the little custom letters makes it that much more personal. Also said this papier photo book. I'm a huge fan of papier, and I love that they have these little custom books. Also just all their books are so adorable, so they would be beautiful as decor for, but it's also like very sentimental. And then obviously you gotta choose all the photos, which also makes it so special. I also said storyworth books. I think these are really cool. It's where they send a prompt like every week. Your mom will whatever write her answer, and over time she'll have a compilation of stories and it gets turned into a book. So if your mom's a writer, she's kind of nostalgic like that, I think this would be an awesome gift. Also kind of like a gift to yourself, because you can see everything she wrote in the future, pass it down to your family as well. I've seen some from Papier, but I've seen a bunch in general, these little custom recipe books, and I think this would also be such a nice gift if your mom's into baking or cooking or making her own recipes, and she can just have a place, write all of her very personal ones down. Once again, kind of a selfish gift, because I know I would totally take my mom's recipe book and make copies of it for myself. I also said a digital photo frame. I think if you like live far away, or if you live far away from your family too, this would be super sweet. You guys could share an album and see the same photos on your frames. You could also make them a custom album to go with it, so it's kind of like a digital scrapbook that they can always look at. I've never seen this before, but on my scrolling on Etsy, I saw custom embroidered frames, and these are gorgeous. If you can make this yourself, this can also go on the DIY list. I don't know if I could do this though, but you can send in a photo and they will custom embroider it for you, which is such cool, like three-dimensional art. Also on Etsy, let's just say Etsy has everything, but you can also send in a photo and they will make a custom watercolor, and I thought this specific one was beautiful. I love the little tiny gold frame. It's so beautiful. Once again, if you can make that yourself, do it. I just probably could not. Also saw this custom jewelry tray. Honestly, there's a lot of different custom ones I've seen on Etsy, and some of them look kind of tacky, but I actually thought this one was really pretty, and it can be based on a photo. You can write a quote, or you could write some kind of letter to your mom on it, and I just like the print. Could be a little jewelry tray, knick-knack tray, whatever. You could get them a Yeti cup, because I believe Yeti does like customization, and you can add anything personal that you want to write to your mom that she can have on her to-go tumbler. Back to Etsy, you can get a custom engraved cutting board, and you can write honestly anything on it, but I saw some where you write like a family recipe or maybe a favorite recipe you share with your mom on it, and I think this is so cool, but also obviously functional because it's a cutting board. Oh my gosh, my mouth is so dry. We are on the last item. I have 3 like sub ideas out of it, but a custom kitchen towel. You could also do a set, but there's 3 that I really like. There is one that follows the same idea where it's like a recipe towel and it can be their handwriting. You could also get one where it's like kitchen and embroidery, or you could get it where it's like their house and embroidered, and I think both of those are so sweet and sentimental, kind of personalizable too. And I like this one because it has a little dog on it. We love dogs. All right, guys, that is my compilation, my list of Mother's Day gift ideas. If you have any other ideas, please leave it below in the comments. I would love to hear them. On some of my last gift idea videos for like Valentine's Day and Christmas, you guys left your ideas and things you've made in the past, and let me just say, I was blown away. You guys have amazing ideas, so keep it up and help someone else in the comments. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it helps, and I hope you and your mother have an amazing Mother's Day. See you guys in my next video. Bye guys.